In 2003, a small family moved into an old house on the edge of a forest in West Virginia. Far from neighbors, far from noise, the house stood alone on a hill. Rotting wood, peeling paint, windows that looked like empty eyes watching. They thought they found peace, but the house had been waiting. Inside, the air smelled like wet soil and mold. A dusty old clock was ticking, even though it had no batteries. In the kitchen, the faucet was dripping slowly, even though the handle was shut tight. That night, everything was quiet. Until 2:14 a.m. The wind whispered from the walls. The vents rattled. Cold air crept through the rooms. And every clock stopped at 2:14. The next morning, they found something strange. A wooden doll, old and worn, sitting on their daughter's windowsill. No one had brought it. No one had seen it before. The second night, their daughter's door opened by itself. They thought it was just wind, until they saw the footprints. Small, dusty footprints appeared on the hallway floor, walking toward the child's bed, but never away. Then came the voices. At first, they were soft, like whispers hiding in the vents. But soon, there were many voices. Low, muffled, constant, as if people were talking from inside the walls. One morning, the little girl drew something new. Not a flower, not a tree, but a tall woman standing outside her window. That night, the backyard motion alarm went off. The security footage showed an old swing moving by itself, back and forth, in dead silence. They never installed a swing. This was not just a house. It was a place that remembered, a place that waited. And now it was awake. 1 week after moving in, the mother discovered a hidden room. In the basement, a large cabinet had been blocking it. Behind the cabinet, a small door sealed with rusted hinges. No key, just silence. She opened it. Inside was a narrow space. Dark, cold, enough for one person to stand. The walls were covered in carvings, words scratched into the wood. Messy, panicked, deep. Don't trust the voice. It lives in the soil. This house feeds on the living. Candle wax melted on the floor. Pieces of dried hair. And that smell again. Like old blood and wet iron. That night, the vents began to make sounds. Not air. Not animals. But something trying to speak. The family portraits fell from the walls. Nails popped out by themselves. The paint began to peel, revealing strange symbols underneath. Their daughter grew quieter. She stared at the corner of her room for hours, as if someone was standing there. Every morning, they found new drawings under her bed. Always the same. A woman in a long dress, with a broken smile and hollow eyes. The house was waking up. Objects began to move. Lights flickered without cause. And the air grew colder by the hour. This was never just an old house. It was a trap, a memory, and something inside did not want to be forgotten. The nights were getting darker. Not because the lights were off, but because the shadows were growing. Longer, heavier. The father began to research the house. He found an old city record. A name appeared. The Granger family. They had lived there in 1971. And then disappeared. No notice. No sale. No bodies. Just gone. Buried deep in a folder, he found a newspaper clipping. A local priest, Father John Marston, was called to the house a few weeks before the Grangers vanished. He never left the property. He walked into Black Hollow and was never seen again. That night, the father had a dream. A priest stood in the basement, eyes closed, pointing at the wall. The next morning, the basement door was open. At the doorway, a muddy, blood-stained crucifix hung by a nail. The security camera captured something. A tall shadow standing in the far corner of the basement. It did not move. It did not leave. It simply waited. Their daughter became stranger. She spoke to no one. She sat in the hallway drawing a circle over and over again. Inside the circle was a single black eye. The house began to tremble at night. Soft at first, then deeper, like something shifting far beneath the floorboards. They realized one thing. The priest never left. His body may be gone, but his presence had become part of the house. And whatever he faced down there is still waiting. The forest began to change. The trees felt closer, taller, like they were watching. Every night at 2 a.m., the motion sensor outside would flash. But no one was there. Only fog, and the sound of slow breathing in the woods. Security footage showed movement, but not people. The trees themselves swayed in rhythm, like lungs inhaling. Their daughter started drawing again. A tall figure hidden among trees, always watching, never blinking. That same week, the grass in the backyard died. Mushrooms grew in strange shapes, and cracks began to form in the soil. The mother had a nightmare. She was buried alive beneath the trees, and voices were singing in a language she had never heard before. Every window in the house grew foggy from the inside, even when no one was breathing. That night, the daughter pointed at the forest and whispered, "She's here." But she hadn't spoken for days. The father checked the cameras again. In the middle of the woods stood a woman, still, facing the house, her face hidden by her long black hair. She stood there for hours, unmoving, watching. The next morning, tiny footprints appeared outside the child's window, heading in, not out. Then, from inside the vents, a voice, low, cold. "I want my child, or I'll take yours." They tried to leave, but the car wouldn't start. The tires were slashed. The garage door refused to open. The phone lines were dead. Their GPS stopped working. Every road they tried led them back to the house. That night, their daughter vanished. No scream, no sound, just an empty bed and the window wide open. They searched the woods. The air was thick, too quiet. Even the wind had stopped breathing. In a clearing, they saw her, standing still inside a perfect circle of stones. The sky turned red. The ground began to crack. And from the forest, something came forward. A tall figure, wearing a black cloak. No face, only emptiness. The air trembled. The trees bent backward. And from the soil, 1,000 whispers rose. They tried to run, but the daughter wouldn't move. Her eyes rolled back. Her mouth opened. But the sound was not human. It was deep, ancient, like something buried for centuries, was now awake. The earth split beneath their feet. A black mist poured out. It smelled like rot, like death, like old memories refusing to stay dead. In the house, they found a book. The last page read, "Every 40 years, a child must be returned to feed the hollow." The last family vanished in 1971. And now, it was time again. The lights went out. The camera cut to black. And the house fell silent once more. The next morning, there was nothing. No family. No footprints. Just the house, waiting again.